See Dana Lou in chat because I know that's one of her favorites.
It really is. Yeah, she always gets happy when meat. She's like, meat. It's great.
But yes, that is me on bass. This is an old band of mine, and some vocals. Half of those songs. Let me fix my. All right, done. All right.
Let's jump into this, right?
Oh my gosh, we got a lot to go on.
We got an intro.
Let me just thank everyone. Yeah, we got an intro, and here it comes. Welcome to the LeafCast, a first-time reader show based on the epic fantasy series The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. My name is Ryan, and I am currently unprepared for this.
That's all right. And I am Ryan's brother Dan. And quote, life is uncertainty and struggle, choice and change. Humankind is made for uncertainty, struggle, choice, and change.
Well
we are the way of the leaf, and this is the LeafCast.
Yeah, and this is episode 72. And forgive me, I think out of 72 episodes, I think I've not been prepared twice. So that's one of them.
That's all right.
I was like, wait, did not update my script as I'm reading it.
No sweat.
All right. Well, we just got back from doing Twatcast with the Twat Quest with our friends from Twatcast. And that was super fun. If you have not supporting them, do subscribe to their channel. They put out just really, really funny and interesting Wheel of Time content. Whoa, hey, James. Let's say hi to James.
Hi, James.
Hey, James W. I'm just not going to try that last name.
In fact, we just defeated 2 toddler Mirdraw, and now we are facing a supersized Trolloc about 15 feet tall. So it should be a fun battle next week.
It should be, but speaking of fun battles, let's bring in our guests. Guys, they're reading. Just in the nick of time.
Happily ever after. Oh, there we go. Hey, what timing?
Wow.
You're reading
that
dogs.
Was so close.
Sadly, yet again.
I know.
You guys just
We're so bad.
You really should finish before the show starts. We keep telling Todd that too. Finish before the show starts. So why are you ending it right when the show's
Brother
ending?
Dan, no, I want it fresh. I want my breakfast fresh. I want my sex fresh. And I want my first-time readers fresh. Their brains are just primed and ready.
Okay.
I hate to disappoint, but we're not fresh on these chapters.
No, you're right. It's been a while. It's been a while.
Right, we were supposed to get
In
to
a
these last week.
minute. Apologies.
No, we'll get through them now. There's one beefy chapter and one minor chapter, so we should be able to get through these. And then next week, we definitely are getting through 3 chapters. They are pretty much all tied together, and we cannot separate these chapters. If anyone in chat has read these already, then you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, we're gonna get through these 2 so that I hate
Fucking Todd. And a good lesson she's getting, isn't she?
Pull that back up, Ryan. Let's see Todd's icon there.
Yes.
Look at the glorious beard.
Oh, okay.
That is a statue of Todd, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a
fucking Todd.
He fell into a vat of plaster of Paris. Oh, you don't know this story?
That's
yeah. He almost died. He almost died.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He fell into this whole concrete churning, it was like plaster of Paris concrete mixture. It hardened on his body,
mafioso style.
I was gonna go Han Solo, but yeah, and then somehow it fell off a cliff and broke in half perfectly right the last second before he was going to die. He fell out of it and was able to crawl away. and then was able to put the two halves together, and that's it. That's how that came to be, Dan. Yeah, Zeus.
The crown
Todd.
is its own other story. We'll get to that another time, I think.
He is Dionysian
Zeus
at a minimum.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the crown is more about like what Todd was doing when he fell in. Yeah, like he's oftentimes,
Notice how where his hand is positioned is not shown in the photo, but it looks like it's going right in front of his. You know what? If you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Just a little. It's ever.
It looks like he was
slightly.
jerking it, and then he's like, "What?
What?
Someone walked
Mom!
in. He's like, what?
Parts of my body are still." Speaking of hard, Mishkiuk. All right.
Mephisto.
Yashibya.
Yashibya.
Oh.
Hello, Kay. Hello, Josh. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Better than most. You?
Better than most.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, he
Aren't
says.
we?
I know. He says
right?
that.
That's a good.
not in
Yeah,
war?
right now, that's really very accurate.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Better than some, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Not a great week
woke up
for
in a good mood.
humankind.
Shit. I woke up in a good mood.
I know, right? And then we just went, oh, crash, burn.
Yes, You know what? I feel like Rand in the beginning of this chapter 22. You see that segue?
Oh
Did you
wow,
see
that
segue?
was smooth. That was smooth.
Chapter 22, Out of the Stone. And Rand is feeling good. The whole procession is leaving Tyr. And he's in his shirt sleeves. He's like, yeah, no one knows me as the dragon. They're just going to assume I'm no one. And he's just enjoying like a little time off from responsibility. He's like, I don't have to deal with the High Lords. I ain't got to execute anyone. I ain't got to deal with anything. I'm just riding. Oh, God, this breeze feels beautiful. Doesn't the breeze feel nice? Boy, this breeze. He's just trying to be carefree, even though he has a bunch of cares. As they're leaving, go ahead, please.
Oh.
Which chapter are we actually going into? Because
We're
that
talking
sounds-
chapter 22 right now.
Okay.
Chapter 22. Yeah. They go bye-bye from the stone. And as they're riding, Egwene and Rand start talking about all the loot that the IEO get. It's called the fifth. They take a fifth of everything. Yeah, hey, if they're gonna beat you, they take 20% of your shit.
Oh, like
That's just how it
YouTube.
goes. No, YouTube takes 30%.
Sorry, they're better than YouTube. What am I thinking?
Yeah, YouTube takes the third.
YouTube takes 30.
I'd rather get hit by an IEO.
Apologies.
Jeez.
That's amazing.
Apologies
Yeah.
to YouTube.
Here we were trying to earn money for UNICEF, and they take 30%
I
of
know,
all
and,
this.
and if they touch you in battle,
Yeah,
like,
they're just
it's a year and 2 days.
They're you don't want to say. They are YouTubey doos. I don't know. I'm not very clever right now.
That's all right. But Egwene is like, well, what about Elaine? He's like, yeah, she took some too, man. She got her fifth. Man, they all got the fifth. What do you guys have any opinions about this policy?
Oh, you know what? This is Josh. This has been a while, actually. This has been a minute. Not really. I just want
It feels like a tithe.
Oh, okay. Well, tithe is voluntary, though. This is, it's a limit on theft, more or less. It's like you can pillage. If they got 5 chairs, you can take 1. I don't know. Maybe a tithe. And as they mentioned that the Terrans would have taken everything. There is no such thing as a fifth for a conquering army. So this is a
I feel like it's in stark contrast to like Western culture and wartime behavior of many actual human cultures from history.
Right.
I mean, I think that it's meant to be an admonishing of them. You know, it's like they don't take it all. They're only taking a fifth.
Right, and I mean, it is humanitarian theft. I mean, we're not gonna wipe you out, but we're taking 20% of your shit. You're not gonna die because of what I'm taking, but it is gonna provide some hardship. Yeah, it seems somewhat humanitarian.
Isn't it? But it's all luxury items that they take. They don't take food, and they don't take anything that would sustain them. They take only the luxury items.
Right, like jewelry and gold and
wall hangings and
tapestries. Yeah,
yeah. It's not. That's what I mean. It's like it's a
toy chihuahua.
It's actually them behaving well in the face of war at a time that they could be much more domineering and evil.
So
I think it speaks volumes of their honorableness.
That I like that take. BR was bringing up something I was gonna ask about. He says it's a sign of the repeated raiding. If you take it all, then they die in the way. So the plundering is all about survival. All right. So you know, right? The shoe is always on the other foot. So in their culture, you can get raided, and they'll take a fifth. You raid them, they'll take a fifth, and it's like it's a kind of a sustainable system, like almost like an ecosystem in a way. Like it has an ecology that works for them. Is that? I was gonna ask, like, is the fifth more about like just where they live? Like they literally just can't like hold a bunch of shit.
Right,
like, they don't need horses and shit. Yeah, like they just basically what they can carry. They're like running around. Like they don't like to like build shit. They don't like to Like they just like hold shit and run. So I was wondering if the fifth is more just like about just.
Well, they use pack animals, right? But they don't ride horses themselves.
I don't know if they use pack animals like that. I think they employ pack animals.
They did have mules.
They do use pack animals, but
they pack.
Adopted a pack. Well, obviously they did not take an entire fifth of tier, but they did loot it. They took what they can carry, more or less, and they probably assume it's about a fifth. You know, I think
more of a
like about a fifth.
Marissa,
it's more of a cap and less of a mandate. It's more of a cap on how much they can take, and not a mandate of how much they have to take.
It's like a sentence of like 5 to 15 years. I could give you 15, but I'll probably just give you 5.
You probably do 5.
All right, KayK, someone real quick. Someone asked about your sword pendant, so I'm gonna give you a little.
Okay, I can tell you about this. Well, let's get this thingy out of the way. This was given to me by Mistress Dovie at the freaking premiere, so it was amazing, and I love it, and it was so much fun, and that's all. That's
the friggin' premiere!
Friggin' premiere! So I keep it on this necklace because this is my little blue pendant that reminds me of Moiraine and this book. So
Dovie,
whole
way to go.
series. And Mistress Dovie is just fucking awesome. Like so many ways. So
yeah, that was amazing.
We had these cute little things. I love it.
Oh, is that a marriage knife? Yes. Sure.
It does stab him somewhere when he's mad. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So,
like in the hand, like a card. Like a mat card. Yeah, Ben Butler. Shout out Mistress Dovie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, Brother Dan, proceed. Okay, so everyone, just reminders, I don't have a banner for it. We are discussing chapters 22 of The Shadow Rising. And we hope you're enjoying the conversation. If you have any questions for our first-time readers, put those in chat. They would love to answer them.
Yes.
Okay. So Rand is taking them off to find a portal stone. He's like, I know there's portal stones out here. I did some study. I did some research. There's in fact 4 around here. Moraine's like, 4? Get the fuck out. And he's like, yeah, for real. And he was looking at old maps. He saw where the Ogier Grove was. But as they were riding, they see that it is just pasture. This is where Loyal and Perrin went to the Waygate just a couple chapters ago, and he thinks of them at that time saying, man, I hope you're doing it, but I gotta go do my thing. And what do you know? They find the portal stone. Moraine's like, well, how do you know this shit? Did Rudian tell you? How do you know there's a portal stone over on the other side? Varen told me how fucked up your last trip was. This is odd. He's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It looks like we got our first drinking obligation. Because it says, we're 2 letters crinkled against a small hard object. Yeah. You know what?
I can't relate. I can't relate. I don't know what you're talking. I can't relate.
It's a drinking object.
A small hard object? I don't know. What?
No, it's RJ. All right. He also there.
Oh, he's like it's autobiographical.
He also mentions when they're riding out that there are some fucked up farms, and he instantly thinks of the Congers and Coplins. And again, so were the Coplins and Congers, because these people are just kind of like poor that we're seeing. They have, they're kind of more scraping existence, it seems, than living on like a healthy farm. Were the Coplins and Congers just poor and people just were classist against them? Anyways,
They were lazy. Or are lazy.
But isn't that the conservative mentality that like, oh, anyone who needs welfare should just work harder per se?
We do have proof that one of the Coplins, we don't have proof, but the assumption is one of the Coplins said the Dark One's name in vain and brought some sort of horrible curse on the family. Yeah, who's to say they're just like every generation of Coplin is constantly, they just can't stop saying the Dark One.
They just keep saying shite down. They're like,
I don't believe it, and they're just getting more and more weeded out and incapacitated.
Right, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's a good take.
So they're off to the portal stones. Any thoughts about Rand and Tyr and his conversations with Moiraine as far as him saying, you're just gonna have to kind of trust me on this shit. I trusted you. You gotta trust me.
I just liked that exchange, just, in general, because of exactly what you said. Like, he's had to trust her for so long, and now he's just like, well, yeah, I've got a plan. You're just gonna have to fucking trust it. And I feel like there may have been some information. I don't think that Moiraine is that trusting, though. I feel like there may have been some information that she was given, either through way of like the letter, or maybe like those snake people that have been seen.
Well, fuck. Let's talk about that letter. What do you think that letter included? What did she learn in this letter from the Wise Ones? We learned that Egwene needs to go there. But it seems like there was other stuff in there too.
Mm. First off, I just want to say, great point, Kay. That was awesome.
Yeah. Good. And that's why I launched off it, because it was like, yeah. Let's talk about that letter. Josh, what are your thoughts about the letter? And then we'll jump back to you, Kay.
Let Kay go first. She's got thoughts in her brain that she'll lose.
No.
I think she lost them.
I actually would really rather you go first. Thank you. I insist.
We know Avienda was mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Presumably, they have some
Presumably. Do you know the answer?
for her in mind.
feel like you have the answer. What's your? Do you have a prediction?
No prediction. And some sort of something about the rest of them was probably in the letter.
Well, they mentioned later, and we'll get into that chapter deeper, but they mentioned that within their dream walking, they said, well, Egwin and Lan were not, they didn't see them at all.
No, it was Egwin and Matt, right? Like they didn't see Egwin or Matt.
Yeah, or was it Egwin and Matt?
Egwin and Matt, yeah.
No,
it was Egwin and Matt.
Okay.
Is it Land?
I thought it was
maybe.
It may have been. Yeah, it may have been.
Hold on, I have that one in purple. So hold.
So yeah, I mean, we know that there was a prediction about them from the dream walking, and we learn a bit about the dream walking, the sense of reality that comes from it, and how much is knowable versus unknown, and that it comes from a source other than the one power. Because it's not consummate with being able to channel.
Yep.
So, which again reminds me a little bit of like Min, as well as Lanfear, and their ability to,
Oh.
Yeah.
Min and Lanfear.
Without needing to channel.
Lanfear, Min, in the sense of her power is not. We know the Aes Sedai don't think that her power or Perrin's is from the true one source, but comes from something older and perhaps deeper or different. And Lanfear, in the sense that Lanfear, I mean, I've repeated myself about this a bunch, but that when she channels or does her shape-shifting gig, she's not channeling Saidar.
Yeah.
She doesn't have the glow. So she's tapping into something different yet again. The combined, the non-Saidar side-in separation of the one power is my guess, but I don't have anything to back that up yet.
Okay, cool.
Right on.
I love it.
Cool, right arm.
Right arm.
Right arm.
Right arm.
I thought, I'm glad you brought up Perrin. I thought that's where you're going to go exclusively, actually, when they described non-channelers being able to be dreamwalkers. And yeah, my thoughts were like, well, Perrin's not channeling, but he's fucking trolling around in there.
So as they are going around looking for the portal stone, it's clearly not an obvious thing. And Rand's like, Land's like, hey, the Aiel are pretty fucking good at this stuff. Why don't you use them? He's like, good idea, Burrow. Hey, Aiel, go find it. And guess who finds it but Aviendha? She's like, and we goes, oh, Aviendha found it, and they all run over to her.
Yep. She said, so she turkey gobbled. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. So there was a hold on. How does it describe it? Hold on.
The turkey gobble.
And all right, and ululating cry came from one of the matings. A ululating. Right?
Whoa, what is?
Like, using your uvula?
Yeah, ululating.
No, yeah, that's when you go
ululating. That, guys, if that's not
yodeling,
ululating,
right? Oh, fuck you.
I don't know what it is.
Anytime you correct me, you just jump on it.
But Rand finds Aviendha first and starts digging around. He's like, all right, thanks for finding it. He's like, why don't you like me? And he has like this awkward little conversation with Aviendha. He's like, you don't like me? She's like, yeah, I don't.
Why don't you like
me? What? He's like, yeah, she says, quote, you may be he who comes with the dawn, a man of destiny, who can like or dislike such. Besides, you walk free, a wetlander, despite your face. Yet going to Ridian for honor, while I... Yeah, and then
Despite
she
your
stops, and she's
face.
like, fuck yeah. Well, because what? I mean, because he's Aiel, but he can still just fucking do what he wants. Yeah,
Just jealous.
it turns out that she is. She says that. Well, Egwin's my friend. Elaine's her friend. You were a dick to Elaine, so I don't like you. And he's like, oh, it's those stupid letters.
Oh, woe is me.
Dang it. And so another drinking obligation, because Rand, as a result, says, quote, sometimes he thought women all belonged to a guild the way craftsmen in cities did. Put a foot wrong with one and the next 10 you met knew of it and disapproved. Let's way to generalize by gender. I like it. It happens a couple times in this, so it's a drinking obligation. Thank you, RJ. They find out that what the Radiant
right, Brother
symbols
Dan.
are. What up?
Oh, you're not seeing that, are you? One second. Here it comes.
What?
This is. All right.
Yep, that's what Avienda sounded like.
Right.
With the
no.
ululating.
That woman's a fucking spitfire in bed. With that tongue, she's can do anything.
By the way, there was another drinking obligation. I'm sorry.
You should be. I'm sorry.
He rubbed the hard shape in his pouch again.
Oh, drink. Yep.
Context, he seems
You
funny.
got like a strong radar for that. That's really funny.
That's good. I love it.
And there is, god damn it, there is another drinking obligation, because whenever someone speaks and doesn't realize that they say something out loud, so quote, he
Such a
wondered
weak
what-
fucking narrative device. It's just like,
yeah,
gotta be
I
fucking
agree.
kidding
It's not the
me.
strongest.
It is.
He wondered
really bad
what
writing.
had held them together so far. Was it just their prophecy of the stone falling and the search for he who comes at the dawn? More than that, Ruark said, and Rand realized he had spoken his thoughts aloud. You're gonna get me drunk, RJ. Don't do this.
That was painful to read.
Yeah, like a little heavy-handed.
But you know what? That's just Tavernness. No, just blame the Tavern. You don't even know.
Well, speaking of TAVERN, do you think TAVERN is involved in Maureen's decision to allow him to take her through the portal?
Or Avienda's ability to find the portal stone?
Ooh, nice. Or is Avienda TAVERN?
That's a good question.
I love that. Ah!
All right, think on it. That's all right.
No, I'm not thinking on it. I already, I think so. But the rationale for it is more to do with how she gets sent off and the fact that she is being trained to be a wise one.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have to push back on this, Mandarb. The difference is, he's thinking all the time. This one time he just happens to be like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Like it just happened. Like he doesn't have a whole history of him just like blurting things out that he's thinking. This is like the first time. And
No, he's done it before.
Yeah,
It's a device that's gotten used numerous times throughout the novels.
Well, and there's been other people who have been
Who've done it.
talking
Yeah.
and then said, and then stopped as if they've said too much or were surprised.
Well,
they
that
said
happens,
too
but
much.
like, just be like, oh, I'm thinking, and I'm like,
No, there's
whoops,
other people who
I'm
have thought out
talking.
loud in the text to this point, in the same way that Rand does.
Right. This
It's not the
just
first time we've
something
seen
that
this
happened.
device as a part of the narrative. Yeah.
My mother used to mutter sometimes her thoughts. I can sympathize with her.
Yeah, no.
happens
I lived in Santa Cruz. I would walk by a lot of people who are just talking to themselves and on various this and that.
Ryan, there
That
was
is
one.
my
Whatever.
everyday.
We got 20 people watching. Everyone, thanks for joining us. We are on chapter 22 of The Shadow Rising. We are the LeafCast first time reader show. Love you guys.
Ryan, when Brennan was like 4 years old, I wasn't there, but Grace had him on a bus in San Francisco, and someone yelled at him and pointed at him and said, "You're a cop, aren't you?"
Nice.
And then he said, "Oh, did I say that out loud?" No, I mean,
No, it reminds me of the time I took. We were at the laundromat back
Just
when we
wait.
had to do our laundry at the laundromat. I went to the 7-Eleven with our niece, and she was like 3, 4, and there's this fucking really gnarly looking biker dude who basically looked like the guy from Raising Arizona. Just put a fucking shotgun on his back, and he was that guy. And our niece goes, "Oh my god, that's a scary man!" And he had the audacity to give her a dirty look. And I just kind of like comically like picked her up, was like, "Nope, sorry, boop 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 boop," back down to the 7-Eleven.
that's great. I have other stories like that. I don't want to share them right now, but yeah.
Right? We could go on and on.
Jackson. Oh,
Jump
yeah.
that shark.
Kids
Got
are
stories
funny,
galore.
right?
Oh, the vagaries of youth.
Super hilarious.
So it turns out we were
Darndest.
drinking for naught because that little hard object in his pouch wasn't his pee-pee. It was an angry all.
All right, that's
Not a
really
happy
funny.
all, it was an angry all.
Nice, Kevin. Nice.
All right, I love the backstory of Kevin Northcutt's developing. He is
So he pulls out, quote, a carving of shiny dark green stone that fit easily into his hand, a round-faced, round-bodied man sitting cross-legged with a sword across his knees. He rubbed a thumb over the figure's bald head. Hell yeah, that's what you do to a Buddha, right?
All day long.
Buddhists don't hold
I mean,
swords.
like, I usually try to get permission first.
So yeah, a Buddha with the sword across its knees. Kind of.
Yeah, VR is right. That's a drinking obligation, Dan.
What's that? He rubbed
Rubbing
rubbing
that
his thumb over
head.
the figure's bald head. All right, I'm down with that.
Yeah, Battle Buddha. Yes, exactly. Well, that's, I mean,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
I'm gonna
like
let that stand.
the
I need
most
to open the
section.
beer.
Rubbing of the head.
It's like Gandhi, like, is a black belt.
Is like John Wick.
Nice. Siddhartha? Yeah, good question. But with the sword, I've never seen a Buddha image with a weapon.
That's a good point.
I don't think
never
it's a
have either.
Buddha. It's a dragon.
Oh, one of the past dragons? Okay.
Okay. Like,
That's awesome.
like before lose. The dragon before lose was like just a fat old, just kind of like Duke kind of Hamahanoko.
What?
He's like, I'm so using the power, I don't even have to walk anymore. I'm just gonna float around. He became fat like in fucking what's Wall-E.
Well, he found a male Angreal, one that works with the male half of the source, the Sidene. Which, is this the first time that we've seen him, like, how something specific, like he's like, oh yeah, this, yeah, it works with the mile half, you know. How did he find this out? Is it? I don't think it's stated in here. Is it?
I don't know, but while we're looking,
it when he went by it in the archive. I think that's what he says, right?
And just was like, boing, yep, I can use you. So I guess maybe he can just sense him?
Does that make sense?
I don't know. Does that make sense?
Belia!
Awesome.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
It's been a while. Ask and you shall receive.
So they pretty much get Rand's all right, gather around. Everyone get close. Huddle up. Take a knee. Boys, take a knee. Yeah, I'll take a knee. They bring all the pack horses by. He's fingering, rubbing that bald head. And then, quote, the world seemed to wink out of existence when the power filled them. We can jump right into this next chapter, but what did I miss from chapter 22, guys?
I love that Ruark recognized the name of Viridian, the symbolic name, on the portal stone.
Well,
that was
it
interesting.
seemed like there were two... All right, so there were two options.
These two are used for Viridian in old writing. Long ago, even the name is not written.
And so Matt flips a coin to say, all right, my luck, hey, do this. And Rand's like, it's this one, right? And Matt's like, yep, that was the one I flipped. So he had an intuition, I guess, or some sort of... How did he know, actually?
Wait, what? Matt knew? You think?
Well,
Matt
no,
Rand.
Rand knew? Oh, because he was like he stopped it on its side, right, and then like flipped it, made it flip.
Well, he knew which one the coin was going to flip on. There were two symbols, and Matt's like, all right, I'll flip. This one heads, this one tails.
I read it as like that he had stopped it on its side because Matt's response was like, "Why do you do that?" But maybe it was after. Maybe he said that after the coin was already flipped, and he was like, "Why do you do that?" kind of thing. I don't know.
Here's how it reads. It says the coin spun into the air off Matt's thumb, gleaming dully in the sun. At its peak, Matt snatched it back and slapped it down on the back of his other hand, then hesitated. It's a bloody thing to be trusting to a toss of a coin, Rand. Rand laid his palm on one of the symbols without looking. This one, he said. You chose this one. Matt peeked at the coin and blinked. You're right. How did you know? He said, it had to work for me sooner or later. None of them understood. But it didn't.
Am I thinking of a different coin toss? Josh?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. You know what
Different
I'm talking
coin
about?
toss.
Like, it's a different coin, right? Okay.
Yes, that's where
I do know,
on
like, as you're
edge.
reading it, I'm like, okay, I know which coin toss this is.
So
Yeah,
what the
I'm
hell's
kidding.
going on? Does Rand just know shit now?
Severiness?
Like, maybe he was told by the snake people. But maybe he's given this information because he's, the Dragon Reborn. Maybe it's, like, fed to him. And, I mean, like, the Aes Sedai have these pigeons everywhere. Why wouldn't he be given information or be getting, information from, like, a multitude of places, I would imagine. But we're probably not seeing, like, a lot of that right now because it's all just kind of starting, it feels like, for him, as far as, like, he's just become this Dragon Reborn, and we're not, like, we're like this much into that, so we've got a long way to go.
I think it's
This is a very good point.
Oh, that's a good point too.
Yeah,
Well-
really, yeah, yeah, totally good point. Do we know that he knows? Like, how do we know that he knows? He doesn't really know. Does he know?
It's
Do we know that he
insinuated that the
It's
two
insinuated,
match,
right?
but-
Yeah, that he knows.
Yeah.
Archetypal memory.
The blood of Mantherin.
Not just Manetheren, but that he is the reincarnation of Luz Theron Telemon.
I like this idea. This like leaning into the Tavern nature, like just
I like it too.
starting to use it as a tool and accepting it. Yeah, that's really interesting. I like that. I like the phrasing too.
You know what?
The
That's
sword is what made him pick up the Angreal, he says. I found it in the Great Holding when I was hunting that doorway. It was the sword that made me pick it up, and then I knew. If you were wondering how I mean to channel enough of the power to take us all, ale, pack news, everybody, and everything, this is it.
So he just thought it was cool, and then was like, "Whoa!"
I think the sword indicated it to him. He had a tingling about it. Carrying the sword.
Oh, interesting.
Premonition.
Okay. Yeah. So he sent the sword, kind of encouraged him to grab it.
The sword made me pick it up. That's the exact wording.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. I like that. There's also a little talk about Varen. Moraine's like, yeah, I know Varen told me all about it. And he's like, yeah, Varen taught me a little bit, but he doesn't really share. But Lanfear taught him more about these portals than anything. But once Roar confirmed it, he went ahead and just went and did it, and boom, they're there.
No flicker this time. Just
No
one.
flicker to
Kapow.
Matt's amazement. He was like, in fact, we made it, Egwin, and without any ... burn we made it. Yeah. I think he was going to say, without me having to fucking see my past life for all these weird lives and me dying and all this flicker stuff. But Rand is kind of weeded out. Everyone's good. Moraine's good. Land's good. But Rand is, quote, Rand forces... Oh, sorry. Abruptly, she realized Rand was on his knees, head down, supporting himself with one hand on the ground. Moraine kind of scolds him. Apparently, he was gripping the Angreal so hard that sword that he was fond of pierced his hand. Moraine, without asking, without getting enthusiastic consent, heals him. And says, don't do that.
I love it.
What's up, Josh? Yeah.
I just love the symbolism of that. The sword led him to this Terangreal, and then its sword pierced him when he did the deed that it
Drinking
meant him to do. Right? Like, there's this confluence, and like Maureen says, right? Like, what does she say? She says, take care, Roundel Thor, she said in that icy musical voice. Any Taveran shapes the pattern to one degree or another, but a Taveran such as you might rip the age lace for all of time. Right? Like, there's just this whole confluence of intentionality and predestination and all of this like happening in this moment, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I'm sorry, what moment are we talking about?
them
I got deep.
portal.
What were you doing over there?
Well, before we get into that, let's answer Benjamin Reno's question. The mugs are glass. They're pretty well made. I think they're great.
Oh,
they're great.
these?
Yeah, he's
They're
asking
good.
about they're great.
Yeah.
They
love it.
are
Coffee mug is
heavy.
good. Josh got a coffee mug not
too
that
heavy.
long ago.
Fabulous. Oh, the mug or
I
the...
think those are
the-
snazzy.
the-
Yeah, we got
okay.
we got
They're both
coffee.
mugs, I guess.
I guess.
They're both mugs.
I'm just gonna drink while I'm at it.
We got this handsome mug.
There's 4 handsome mugs if you're counting accurately, fellas.
Oh,
that's awesome. Thank you, Matt.
I'll wind it up.
Oh, MaTsDaGger, you're the best. So they right out of the portal stone, they see everyone files out. I mean, or just boom, not files out. They just boom appear, I guess.
File out.
100 IL, all their horses, all their fucking friends. Glastic.
Yeah.
And they see that there's some IL kind of waiting for them. And these motherfuckers are bailing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
It says, quote, they stared outward warily, not towards the valley and the fog-shrouded city that must be Viridian, but at 2 camps, one to either side, perhaps half a mile away. It goes on to say the gray-brown Aiel in each camp were clearly visible, short spears and arrow-knocked horned bows in hand, veiling themselves as if they were not already. They seem poised on the balls of their feet. All right, let's drink.
Uh-huh.
They're poised on the balls of their feet.
It doesn't feel sexual, but the...
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with that as a drinking.
Yeah.
I
Oh.
was thirsty. I was thirsty.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest.
That was
stretch.
it was a stretch.
But then we hear the Peace of Viridian because calling down, and 4 older women come down. And
I love the doll with the beanie. You look lifelike, Josh.
he looks. That's funny. The Peace of Viridian, baby. No, hey, you can't shed blood here. This is sacred land. And we meet the wise ones. Amos, Bears, Sienna, Emeline. I wish we had. Next week we'll have pronounce this.
Yeah. I like pronounce this. I like that game.
They come down. Everyone kind of loosens up. 2 guys from each of those camps come down. One guy unarmed, the other guy kind of totally armed. Avienda tries to bolt, and they're like, "Nope, you stay, Avienda. You need to hang out." And then, before those guys come, though, Rourke and Amos,
Cute.
shade of my heart, baby.
It's weird though. The text says, "I am come back." Amis?
I am coming.
Though not by the way you expected, I will wager.
I am come back.
I am come back.
All right, everyone drink.
All right, I'll give you. All right, I'll give you that one.
Come back.
Yeah,
Better than balls
that's
of
a
your
sequel
feet.
to Brokeback Mountain.
I'll drink long and hard for that one.
I am come back.
I am come back. Great editing.
I'm with you, Rourke.
I thought hats off to Edith, right? Isn't that her name?
Actually, before we get there, let's do pronounce this just right now. Look at this. KayK, how do you read this?
That name.
Kuladin.
Okay. Josh, how do you...
Wait, am I supposed to say arrives? Is that supposed to be arrives?
Just
the
no,
Kuladin?
actually, that's arrives.
Arrives.
No,
Arrives.
Arrives.
Arrives is what I think arrives.
Kuladin Arrives.
Kuladin arrives.
No, so how do you say Kuladin?
Kuladin? Yeah.
Kuladin. Okay, all right. All right, cool.
I didn't. I didn't.
All right, so they show up from the portal stones, and all these people are waiting for them.
Where do you work, Elno?
Ah,
Just wondering. How awesome is that?
no. Thank you, Elno. So what are we? What you guys talk to me? I'm
Get
just
back to
talking
pretending
here.
to work, Elno.
Yeah, I don't know.
For real.
Why, Elno?
Why? What do you? I'm sorry, brother Dan. What was your question?
No, I'm just saying. What do you guys think about this whole thing? As with the IEO here, and once we get past the IEO and people start going to Iridium, we'll take a break. But what are you guys' thoughts about like this whole culture that we hear as soon as they come off? There's pretty much someone is there to get Ruarks back, just in case the Shido did something. Did you guys pick up on any of that stuff?
I don't
there
know.
Was a protection
There's so
kind of
much
thing
going on in here. This is such a freaking packed chapter.
Yeah, this is like
There's
this is like
two
the it's a Treduncan of chapters, Dan. There's just one. Yeah, you get through the turkey and all of a sudden what? There's ham and all of a sudden like what? There's fucking pheasant. What's going on?
There's a duck? No, Ryan, it's called a turducken.
I'm not. Yeah. Well, okay.
There's no ham and pheasant in a turducken.
Yeah.
It's a turducken. I mean, it's in the name.
Very gross,
Come on.
but
It's definitely a metaphorical fail.
All right. So
It's right there.
ham and pheasant.
Ham and pheasant. What do you got? A British turducken? Blood sausage?
All right. Yeah.
Your
yeah,
ham,
so-
your ham pheasant.
there's so many layers. Yeah, just layers upon layers in this chapter.
layers.
Well,
upon
I mean, we
layers.
haven't even gotten like. God, yeah. Keep going, Dan.
So
Keep
here's what happens. The guy Hirn, Atirn. Ruark's like says, "I see you, Hirn."
Turfigan.
Big. Nice.
Nice. That's funny.
Called a turducken. All right.
Never. Don't. Just don't.
He's like, I see you here, why are you here? And he's like, I see you, Ruark. Yeah, these wise ones were coming here. We just thought we'd make sure they get here safely. But Lan leans down and says, quote, a wise one can go anywhere safely into any hold regardless of clan. I think not even blood feud touches a wise one. This heron came to protect Ruark from whoever the other camp is, but it would not be honorable to say it.
We also learned that Moiraine basically trusted Rand to bring her because she knew that the Dreamers had predicted that they would be there today.
Right. Without even they knowing that they were taking the ways, or at least Moiraine didn't even know. It's
The ways?
oh, I'm sorry, the portal
Stones,
Yeah.
which may use the ways. We just don't know.
No, I
Whoa.
misspoke, but I mean.
Oh,
to your
it
point,
might.
may,
Oh, okay. The portal. Okay, that's so amazing. Like when you're playing a video game and you go on the map and you jump from one like.
like one bonfire to another.
Yeah. Like that's what the portal stones are, but the ways are actually. That's amazing. That's really funny.
But the ways is when the big eagle grabs you and takes you out to the new.
Yes. I was gonna say the ways are more like chutes and ladders.
So Lan has a little history with the IL. He's like, yeah, I fought him a bunch of times before I even met you. Probably fight him again. This is what happens. I just fight IL.
Yeah, the more I think about it, this whole thing is more like Candyland than anything.
Shoots and ladders.
Really?
Some weird.
It's like weird.
Yeah.
You just
Man, molasses
end up in
swamp.
some fucked up town that has some sort of weird theme. Like,
All right, this is the greatest question I've ever gotten from chat ever. Does a blind IEL still say I see you? It's the only greeting I ever hear IO use. Yeah, well, this is, yeah. Guys, what do you think?
I think that blind IO, they lead into the desert and just
I think this is like, what is the sound of
like-
one hand clapping? No, a blind
like
IO man
Sparta.
will like catch fucking ninja stars out of it. Like, no, there'll be like you've seen those fucking ninja movies where they can't see and they're still like catching stars out of the
air.
Right, boom, right before
Shuriken out of the air.
Yeah. Come on, they'll be like the most badass like. There'll be it'd be like that one movie where if you make a sound, the aliens come and eat you. Like if you make a
has Jocelyn Carissa learned that Avienda can't see?
What?
Oh,
yeah, that's what her name translates into.
it means I can't see. Avienda.
The sightless.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
We learned from that Cooladin is the part of the Shido. Rourke's like, so what's up with you, Shido? You need a clan chief? He's like, yeah, my brother's up there, and if he doesn't come down, I'm gonna go. I smell you.
2 I smelled you came in back to back.
Hey,
Bonus
yo,
points for
smell you
Village
later.
for being
So
first.
he's like the Prince of Bel-Air when he gets out of a taxi cab and says, yo, home, smell you later.
Yo, home, smell you later. Yep. Print. Yep. Yeah, you should walk away. But I knew, and I got it, and you're so
I
happy.
bet you someone chuckled. I bet you someone did.
You're so cute. Love that little walk away and then back.
Boom, I'm back.
Right.
To Egwin, this Cooladin quote reminded her of the Congers and the Coplins back home, full of boasts and trouble. Boasts and trouble, baby. All right, didn't we see them open for Fridays?
Yeah.
Oh no, those jumps in tuba.
Yeah, no. I was gonna say I liked it, but they could have used some bass.
It's fun.
You're on a roll.
And so we
Just
meet
you
these
wait.
characters here. We can talk. Let's go ahead and take the slimmest of 10 minutes, like maybe 9 minutes and 45 seconds, even 9. Let's take a
Slimmer.
little break, yeah.
9:15.
All right, well,
They're pulling the
Shall we? Shall we?
7.
shall we?
smelling salts up to their noses.
Shan't we?
Shan't we?
All right, so I will bring up.
Shan't we?
We shan.
Must we take a full 10? I don't know.
I
Must
don't know if
we?
we have like an 8 minute or so. I think they're all pre-recorded, right?
No, I'm
Sure.
just gonna play some music. I was actually gonna play some Hermit
Okay.
Convention, so let's.
Fabulous either way.
I'll
I'm
put
all
up.
in.
I'll put up a
Okay.
banner. Mistletoe and not by Hermit Convention.
Oh,
and-
Jesus. I was thinking, wow, Craig really is branching out in his style with that song.
yeah, no,
My
and in
goodness.
fact, we're fucking probably gotta like edit that out. We're gonna get a copyright strike. That was really frustrating. All right, anyways, hey, I'll fix that for next show. Andrew, Barter Time. Stoked to see you.
Yeah, if the New York groove is good, then yeah, probably. Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
probably back in it. Yeah,
You know,
yeah, I'll say probably.
Probably.
probably
Probably with 2 L's.
Probably.
Probably.
Probably with the Molly.
probably want a cracker.
Guys, welcome back. We are The Way of the Leaf. We are on chapter 23. We're about halfway through, about a third of the way through. We got another 45 minutes left, I'm sure. And we are going to kill this. Right now, everyone is with the IL. They want to. So Rand wants to go to Viridian. He does this cool little thing. It says, quote, he made an odd bow, left foot advanced, left hand on knee, right hand outstretched, palm upward. Ryan, can you try that with your puppet? Left foot advanced, left hand on knee, right hand outstretched, palm upward.
Okay, getting it. All right. Oh, all right. Get this
you
in
got it.
there. Get that in there.
Yeah.
Nope. Can't do it.
I can do it if you tuck that in, and then you're like, oh, I can't even do it. So yeah, it's apparently an old form, ancient form. But he has to go, and the 4 ladies say, yes, you can go. I can't hear you, Josh.
What is this about Rand's mother not being Aiel, but his father was?
Yeah, let's
Right? What was that about?
Yeah, so what is
What
that
is
all
that
about?
I'm the one asking the question.
Because later she says he has his mother's eyes, but some of his father's features as well.
Right.
So they do recognize who his mother was based on
His progeny.
her eyes. Yeah. Any thoughts? Not your mother, your father.
Yeah,
So maybe his mother is an Aes Sedai, and his father is Aiel.
Oh, okay. Because we know it's got to be half Aiel, right? The Dragon Reborn is half, right? Half Aiel, something like that.
Yeah, but that's so different than what the show said.
Well, yeah.
True.
Well, Rand
beep.
does ask permission, quote, by the right of blood. I ask leave to enter Ruidian for the honor of our ancestors and the memory of what was. How did he learn that? It says in ancient form, but she says yes. Do you think he read it in a book that that's what you're supposed to do? Do this weird funky ass bow and give this weird thing?
Or he was schooled by Ruark.
Oh, do you get that impression?
I mean, that was what came to mind when I thought about it, but...
Yeah, I mean, it could be. He's like, boy, when you meet with the old ones. They say yes. Couladin is non-thrilled. We can probably say. He's like, no, and he goes and so they all say yes, but Matt's like, hey, me too. Hashtag me too. I want to go too. Me too.
No, he's getting me too.
Did I use that wrong? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. But he's like, I want to go too.
Me too is a verb now.
Couladin tries to kill him. He throws a spear, like just jabs a spear at him. And two of the wise women are channelers. They stop him and they throw his ass back 12 feet. And Egwin's like, whoa, Aiel can channel. What do you know?
All right, so quick question. In a one-on-one battle, could Matt take Couladin?
With his luck, yes.
With his luck, okay.
Right.
He'd have to trip over a pebble and fall in just a specific way. And...
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
It's like, oh, is he
with the
die from tripping over a pebble? Flip a coin. Oh yeah, you are. Trip,
with the
die.
Yeah, the pre. Yeah, the predestined Matt would not be able to, but the lucky Matt, that post-dagger, post-destined Matt definitely could.
The
narrative depends on
dagger, if you will.
Right.
Okay. Well, here's what I want to talk about in this chapter is the whole little ceremony beforehand. So Matt wants to go. They all say, no, fuck you. You can't go. Good night, village.
Night, village.
Sleep well and wake.
But maybe you're right, Dan, going back to your first question. Good night, village. It's an ancient form, she says, about Rand's question, so probably did find it in the book.
Okay. Yeah, he's been studying. He's been reading up, doing weird bows. But Matt, they all say no, you can't go. Rand says, you know what? You said I can go. I can bring a friend. I have a +1, and he's my +1.
Yeah.
Like, man, you found the loophole.
The
Bye.
You found the chaperone loophole.
It says, Shandar. It says, quote, if he is the one, Bear said, the time of change is upon us. Aes Sedai stand on Shandar and Ion Alion with his shifting cloak. Can we hold to the old way still, knowing how much is to change? And they say, fine, you can go. Here's the thing I want to mention. She says, you, by what name do you call yourself? And Rand says Rand al'Thor, and Matt says Matt Calthin. Is that significant at all? That Rand identifies himself as Rand al'Thor in this point? I mean, did you guys find any significance in that? I mean,
like instead of saying I'm the Dragon Reborn
or something, or son of
or anything,
blah blah Aiel and daughter of blah.
Yes, to like circumvent that possible.
He's still an al'Thor. He's not of
He's
clan.
Rand al'Thor from the Two Rivers. Yeah.
No,
I don't know. Okay.
Just a bumpkin.
Yeah, I think he just hasn't he's not. I don't think he's completely not identified. On not identifying with Rand al'Thor right now. Like
Right.
I
just
don't.
with him with the Aiel, I didn't know if there was any significance to him just claiming him his,
Maybe
there's been a lot of labels been thrown on him lately,
That's true.
The simple Rand al'Thor.
Yeah, Rand al'Thor. Yeah. So, anyways, that's who he associates himself with, I guess.
Thinking about it now.
On the base level,
Mhm.
And they're like, fine, Matt, if you want to go, fine. You'll probably die. Go ahead. We're not going to stop you. There's certain rules. They can't carry food or water. They can't go armed. Save with your hands and your own heart to honor the Jinn. It says if you have any weapons, place them down. And Matt comically has a huge pile where he's pulling knives out of fucking everywhere. Every orifice, every hiding spot.
I love
did I forget these? Oh,
Yeah.
gosh, I got some of my boots.
I had like 5 more. I just maybe forgot. But
He's all, oops, wah, forgot about them.
I liked that.
And then,
Reading that.
so here's the interesting thing. So it says, quote, and I'm going to quote the whole thing. They are pledged to Ridian, Amos said formally, looking over the men's heads, and the other 3 responded together, Ruidian belongs to the dead. They may not speak to the living until they return, she intoned, and again the others intoned, the dead do not speak to the living. We do not see them until they stand among the living once more. Amos drew a shawl across her eyes, and one by one the other 3 did the same. Begone from among the living, and do not haunt us with memories of what is lost. Speak not of what the dead see. And they just cover their eyes and just wait for Matt and Rand to just leave. Interesting.
Right?
How they, Ridian belongs to the dead, or vice versa. Did you guys find any significance or anything that you guys wanted to discuss about this?
Well, I mean,
ritual?
BR said that's one of his favorite moments. I think he's referring to Matt just giving up all of his weapons and then like finding some more in like his shoes and his anus and
pulling knives from his sleeves and under his coat, even one from down his neck, fashioning a pile that seemed to impress even the Aiel woman. He had made as if to stop, looked at the women, then took 2 more from each boot top. I forgot them, he said with a grin and a shrug. The wise one's unblinking looks wiped his grin away. That was so cute. I love it. That was one of my favorite moments too. BR.
Yeah.
If that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, the one down the back. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, can you imagine? It's just like clink, 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 clink.
Right? I know.
Clink.
Big old pile, and then
Clink,
he's
clink.
like,
Clink, clink.
oh, right.
Clink,
Clink, clink.
Oh, I got one holding my hair together. Clink.
But then the wise ones totally intimidate him, and he's like, oh.
Yeah.
That wasn't so cool, actually.
How do you guys pronounce the way the IEL call land?
Oh.
It's AAN''ALLEIN.
Oh, the An Alien. That's how my head says.
On Alien? Okay.
Yeah.
That's probably fucking really. That's probably what Shanzini would say. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, on Alien.
On Alien. We learned that means one man. And Moraine shows off her. You know, this is like when I go to Mexico or Spain and I like showing off like my limited Spanish. And I'll be like, oh yeah, that means. So this is what she's doing with the old tongue. She's like, oh, that means one man. What about Jato? Oh, that means honor and duty, or honor and obligation, or something like. You know, she's like, she knows the words, but she doesn't know necessarily the meaning behind anything.
Mm-hmm.
One man doesn't really say anything, but there's the meaning behind it. Same with Jato, and several other things that she mentions as well. Yeah. Anyways, so the boys are like, all right, well, time to go. Let's go. And they start walking off. They're kind of talking. And then they're gone. Bye. But he gives Egwene a kind of reassuring smile, like, hey, baby, I'll be back. Don't worry about it. Then Amos is like, all right, you got to go. Allian, split. This is women's circle business. I mean, why is one business? I mean, yeah. Hey, you got a penis, you can't talk to us. And he's like, all right, bye. It's interesting. They know of him. And he had mentioned before that he had fought against Aiel. But it says, we know of him, Aes Sedai, the last of the Malkier, the man who will not give up his war against the shadow, though his nation is long destroyed by it. There is much honor in him.
Wow.
I knew from the dream that if you came, it was almost certain Alalian would as well, but I did not know he obeyed you. There's a lot that these cultures don't know about each other. The water bond, or at least that relationship, and vice versa, as far as a lot about the IL. And then Avienda, they're like, yo, Avienda, time for you to stop being a maiden.
I like this bit about Egwene reflecting on like the dream space and the if you came verse. Land being there, like just the kind of laying the borders of the uncertainty and the truthfulness of it for us, or outlining the potential borders of where that might be. Anyhow,
right? She says almost certain Lan would come with Moraine. Lan always followed Moraine. He would follow her to the pit of doom without blinking.
Good night,
nearly as interesting to Egwene was if you came. Had the wise ones known they were coming or not? And I guess that was the question. Like, I guess how often are they wrong? Because they were right here, but it seemed like it was no one knew. They're like, well, all right, here's how we figured it out. If we were halfway sure that Rand would come. If he didn't come, he would die. if he came, then we were pretty sure that you would come, and then we figured Alalan would come, but it's this weird game of telephone, a future telephone that they're not really.
So is that because multiple of them had the dream and perceived it differently, or did multiple of them have multiple dreams and each of them were slightly varied?
Like a patchwork kilt.
That's a good question. Why are there so many variables, right?
Yeah.
Is it a flicker?
Or are they seeing, like, what are they seeing? Are they seeing the future? Are they reading the weave of the age lace? Are they, how is Tel'aran'rhiod's it's a reflection of reality? Or is it, I mean, the way they describe it, it's sort of like, it's vague, right? It's like the weather, right? Like, yeah, you can see the storm is on the horizon, but you don't know where the lightning will strike, right? Like, but they know there will be lightning, but just not how much and where and when.
Okay, I see what you're saying. It says here, here's the line exactly. It says, quote, "It was no more than an even chance that the young man who calls himself Randall Thor would come. If he did not, it was certain that he would die in the IEL too. Yet if he came..."
God, what does that mean? I mean, like,
oh my
hard
God.
stop in honor of Todd. What does that mean? If he comes, he dies, and the IEL die.
If he did not come, yeah, it was certain that he and the IEL would both, yeah.
Is that okay? So is that in reference to the idea that if he dies, everyone dies?
Would it be like half the world
to the
because
IEL?
it's half the IEL? Like, is it half the world and therefore half the IEL? Like, is it half of every? But then, like, how does that work? How does half of every? It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
How does half of every, like, I don't know, culture get divided in half and then half of that culture dies? That doesn't make any sense. It would just be like half the people die, right? I mean, yeah. I think. But
or do they mean only the IEL who were at the tower?
Right, like it's a specific IEL. I don't.
It said, if he did not, it was certain that he would die in the IEL too. Yet he has come, and if he survives Viridian, some of the IEL at least will survive. This we know. If you had not come, he would have died. If Alalan had not come, you would have died. If you don't go through the rings, I shouldn't have said it. And this fucks everything up in their head because there is in all of their seeings, Moraine was always the one who insisted on going to Viridian and going to the rings. But here things have changed. It's what?
How so? What do you mean? What are you getting at? Sorry.
All right, so
I agree.
So let me find the exact phrase. It says
well, already we're seeing, like, it's shocking when you think about already what we know from the IEL, the idea that they're going to say, okay, Rand says Matt joins them. We're now going to break every long-standing tradition of ours and say, hey, change is coming, and they just acquiesce. We could
wait. What? Because Matt joins them?
Yeah. When Matt was asking him to go to Radiant, like that is against every rule ever, and like this guy Couladin was like, "What the fuck?" And I think he had every right to, because it's never happened in the history of the IEL that like a wetlander was just allowed to go just because one dude's like, "Yeah, fuck it, I'm not." Rand's not a wise one. Wise one make those choices, and he's like, "No, he's come with me." And they're like, "All right,
well, no one of the blood who's not of the blood shouldn't even be there." And they're like, "Yeah, now there's 5 of you." Well, 4, because we'll say Rand has the loophole. But you, Moraine, Lan, Egwin, yeah, you're all fucking this up right now.
Yeah. And so why do the women got to take their clothes off and the men don't?
Because it's sexy.
Story of my life. Drinking obligation? Thank you.
Yeah. Drink to hide the shame.
So here's the quote you mentioned earlier, right? Yeah, where Cian said in a resigned voice, "You should not have been told. It is done now. Change." Moraine paused. "Does that make a difference that I've been told?" She said, "Perhaps a great difference," Bear said reluctantly. "Perhaps none. We often guide, but we do not tell. When we saw you go to the rings, each time it was you who brought up going, who demanded the right, though you had none of the blood.
So
Now
each
one of
time
us
we saw, so it is multiple.
And
And
one of us has mentioned it first. Already there are changes from anything we saw. Who can say what they are? Go on,
Well,
Josh. Now,
the reason that the women have to undress is because they go through the terangrial, and the men do not.
Oh, all right.
And the same terangrial or a similar terangrial is used for the ceremony
You're right.
within the White Tower, and they have to strip for that as well.
Yeah, Robert Jordan. That was sneaky.
and to your point there, Josh, and also Carissa, that if this is the same type of situation like that accepted test, then yeah, the Aes Sedai certainly do seem to coddle their initiates more than the Aiel certainly do, because they were there. They were pouring water, saying there was a guide for each of them. Here, they just throw Avienda out go down into the valley, and good luck, and you're dead until you prove us otherwise. Bye.
I mean, they are people of the desert. I mean, they live in some harsh conditions, right? I mean, they're just harder people. They're not soft.
Yeah. And that's brought up a couple times.
I like this, what it says too. I know we've skipped some, but
Yeah.
it says, "The present is much clearer than the future, even in Tel'aran'rhiod," the sun-haired wise one said. "What is happening or beginning is more easily seen than what will happen or may. We did not see Egwin or Mat Cauthon at all. It was no more than an even chance that the young man..." Right, so it's like the future is less clear than the present, but even the present is not a pure reflection. And then they seem to imply here, there is no one set path to the future. The pattern makes the finest lace look like coarse woven sacking or tangled string. In Tel'aran'rhiod, it is possible to see some ways the future may be woven, no more than that. So they are interacting with the pattern in their dreaming in the Tel'aran'rhiod.
Are we surprised at all that the awareness of that pattern of age or whatever that everyone else believes in, are we surprised that the IL embrace that as well?
No.
Okay.
Not only embrace it, but like you use it to great advantage. Like they seem to have a deeper understanding of the nature of reality than.
Well, the fact that they have the rings implies that there's a relationship with the Aes Sedai. They can channel. They have Angrial. Clearly, they're educated. Ryan, I can hear myself in your headphones.
I got really close for a second there. Yeah.
Clearly they know, they've been schooled historically in the legends and the thought that they share as a historical and cultural basis, right?
Okay, so there's a couple mentions of. Go on. I'm sorry, Carissa. Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
I was just like, huh? Okay, well, I mean, yeah, I don't know where you were gonna go though, brother Dan. I don't want to step on your toes.
No, I was just talking more IO. I mean, so if you have
Okay, well,
IO
I have
talk-
something different then maybe. Well, I mean, it's I don't know. It's just all very fascinating to me, and I have this one part highlighted with like a heart drawn next to it, so I guess I really liked this part when I was reading it.
Okay. Read it.
The whole like a woman knows some things, a few that will happen, others she will not recognize until the decision is upon her. If then life is uncertainty and struggle, choices change. Did we go over this already?
No.
Okay, choice and change. One who knew how her life was woven into the pattern as well as she knew how well a thread was laid into carpet would have the life of an animal.
If she did not go mad.
If she did not go mad. Yeah. Like, humankind is made for uncertainty, struggle, choice, and change. That's just so relatable on every level.
Dan opened with that quote, which is maybe why it seems familiar. Like,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
we go on?
Probably where you heard
Maybe
it. Yeah.
that's why it feels like
And
we've
it's
already spoken.
well-
And we
Well,
also it's the
great.
same thing that it's the same thing they tell the girls who come out of the rings after they're raised to accept it as well.
That they're animals.
No, that the decision that the memories will fade of what happened within there and become softer over time. And remember, Nynaeve is like, fuck that. Like, what I saw will always be with me. Like,
Now, okay, so that's a great point, and if you remember, after the first flicker scene, I think there's some sort of mention of like the memories fading also. So it seems, and I'm wondering if you feel like there's some sort of like something to that, this idea that like there's built in. The memories will fade. They said it isn't like built into the whole process is that the memories will fade. We've seen
Like
3
memories
different versions of
fade
this.
to myth. It's even part of
Yeah.
like the whole thing. Memories fade. Memories
Yeah.
fade to myth. Myth
Oh,
becomes
yeah,
legend.
okay,
Legend, right?
So is
Isn't
it if you're experiencing bigger time issues, like if you're experiencing time like you do in these kind of instances, right? The portal, this and that. Is that why the memories will fade? Because it's just too much to handle it?
No, I mean, like, my first interpretation of like memories fade is just like because memories fade, because time happens, and that's how memories fade, and that's how memories become myths and legends, and evolve into things that maybe we don't, or it's like a game of telephone. You start with one story and it could, or like Tom talks about that flowery thing, right? Like how something could be just one thing, and then it might be interpreted through, like, because it's in the old tongue, or because vice versa, that it is like it's just a flowery way of saying something completely different.
have you ever read Proust? Remembrance of Things Past?
No, not that one. Maybe not. No.
It's just it's all about. I mean, it's a novel about this very idea of like the ephemeral nature of experience and knowledge, and the fleetingness of it that makes it meaningful.
No.
But also, it's sort of like a psychedelic experience, right? Like you enter into these portals and you become another person in another time, yourself in a new timeline, and it's like full immersion, right? So you can't bring that back with you. You only bring back with you the faintest traces of that experience. You don't, because it is you as another.
I
right?
agree.
You become a multiplicity, right?
Well, let me challenge just a tiny bit, though, because Egwene does not seem to have forgotten a damn thing about the thing. It says, quote, even in this chapter, Quote, this was something like being raised to accepted, it seemed, but without any novice training first, without anyone to give small comfort afterwards. What would it have been like to be raised accepted on her first day in the tower? She thought she might have gone mad. Nynaeve had been raised so because of her strength, but and then it says, come back to us, she thought, be steadfast. She remembers that shit.
She remembers the experience of being raised, but does she remember the experience, all of the experiences that she had within each ring? Maybe she does still now, but it fades over time.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
That's
Just
what
like
we're talking about
specifically.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's not like anything designed to like an
but then maybe she's
that
just
like
not.
just makes you forget.
Well, I mean, I think there's something specifically built. It feels like there's something specifically
different,
built.
Though
Yes,
there's
she is.
something different about Egwene. She's different in every in the way that, not in every way, but like in the way that she can walk into these dreams, that she's even able to do that she understands old time. There's something completely fucking different about this.
Yeah, so on some level, I would argue, Dan, like, it still could be true that Egwene can't remember, but it's still, both could be true, that it's built into the systems
have something to do with the fact that she knows more than she can explain. You know, like, when you wake up from a dream, you just, like, maybe have a lot of like knowledge about something you just never even like thought about before. You feel like you have a lot of knowledge like for a split second, or you're like sure you were somewhere else, but it just doesn't happen. Anyway, you know what I mean. Well, but like I feel like the dreams are really powerful in this instance specifically.
Here's the exact line. It says, in Ruidian, Amos said, you will find 3 rings arranged so. You will see your future laid out before you again and again in variation. They will not guide you wholly, as is best, for they will fade together as do stories heard long ago. Yet you will remember enough to know some things that must be for you, despised as they may be, and some that must not, cherished hopes that they are. This is the beginning of being called wise.
What is this? All right,
I don't understand. And is this the same thing that the accepted go through?
I don't think so.
I do. I think it's related. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Why do you not think
related? Because there's 3 rings, and there's like a situation like with 3 rings, but it doesn't. I don't know. I feel like it's just such a different outcome in the end.
What's different about it? I mean, we know that it's an alternate past, an alternate present, and an alternate future in the one that the Aes Sedai have, but it doesn't say that these aren't that. It just says that there are 3 different views of how things might be.
Yeah, maybe.
Right. But when they came out of those rings, they were like, say it ain't real. There was no like, gosh, I can't quite remember what happened. These were traumatic experiences that they took.
You're going to make me go back to the other book, but they promise them. They promise them. They console them afterwards by saying it gets easier over time.
Yeah. No, which could either just be a truism, but
like
also I think.
Well, maybe it's the unreliable narrator. I mean, maybe it's that. We go back to that.
You're right.
Just a shaky Egwene coming out of these rings, feeling fucking weird from these experiences, and giving us her version of it.
And to both of your point, the women have to get naked. They have to go and have their own personal sort of spiritual vision quest. They do things differently, but I guess the structure itself is pretty similar,
Sure.
I mean,
there's a structure that seems very similar, and yet I think that even though the structure seems similar, I think it could very well be that it's a different type of thing.
Outcome, different doorways. Yeah, you think that
just like we just saw.
Like Matt had different doorways, right? Well,
that's what I'm talking about. The same doorway that looks exactly.
Sorry.
I'm not supposed to.
No. But yeah, but I think she's onto something. I think like
there's a
right.
Just
Well, it's out there. But yeah, like just like the doorway
Yes.
that Matt is different. Maybe these are different circles.
This is already. I mean, we had to read. We know this.
I don't
right?
think the rings are related to the twisted doorways.
No. But no. But just
No,
as
I don't think it's
as
related to that. I
as
just
these.
think
No, hold on.
Sorry.
As these twisted doorways are different for Matt, the rings Moraine is going through are different than they are in Tarvalon. So it's like, right?
right. Yes, that's what I was saying.
Yeah. So just whatever's going on in Meridian is similar, but just somehow different. So like the outcome of what Moraine is going through might just be very well different than what they went through as in the accepted test.
Well, of course, they're going to be different because they're not the same. But I mean,
I thought you were saying that
Well,
they were the same.
outcomes are going to be different of tests because.
But I mean,
people-
Moraine already went through her accepted test. Why? I mean, why is she going through it again? Like, it must not be the same.
I think
I
that they're
know
part.
Is she just seeing a rerun? She's like, oh, I've seen this before.
She's not going to have the same experience, but they could still be part of a pair. I mean, just like we learned that, there are Terangrial who are paired, right? Who have, and we know that Egwene's dream ring is connected to the original.
Dream ring.
Egwene dream ring.
Egwene's dream ring is connected to the original 3 rings that they go through for the accepted test, right?
Wait, how do we know this?
Because it sets off that fucking resonance crazy shit that happens when she comes out.
Oh,
Right, there was because
Remember, her ring is in the room with her in her
Yeah, but
clothes,
that-
and then she comes out and it sets off this crazy resonance.
but
And they're like, we've never seen this except when someone brought a Terangrial that was related to another one within proximity of it.
Well, let's tie it to this chapter. Rand left
Beautiful.
the
Josh,
fat
I
Angrial.
fucking love you,
the
Josh.
Fat man Angrial. Was that a wise choice then? Would that have maybe fucked up what was going on in Meridian?
I think he left it because it was a weapon. It could be a weapon, right? Like, he's like, this is the best I can do. Right? Because he can't leave his ability to channel on their fucking blanket.
And nor could Moraine or Egwene. Yeah, I'm just wondering if he had brought that thinking, oh, this isn't a weapon, would there be that resonance disruption in Meridian, do you think?
I mean, only if there was a Terangrial that was related to it, which maybe there would be.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Yeah, we're not exactly sure what that fat man Angrial actually does. Besides that Rand can use it. What do we think about the Gaishan and Jieto?
where, let's see.
The Gaishan are if you get captured in battle, or worse yet, if you get just touched by someone who's unarmed, an enemy, without getting hurt, then you owe them some toe or some G. They got toe to you, or no, they get you got G, you got T, they got toe, or something. You got G, they got toe. They gotta pay you back. They stay for a year and a day as servants. They'll do whatever the fuck you want without violence and blah blah blah. You guys read about this honor code. I mean, I'm butchering it. I'm doing a poor job. But did you have any thoughts about the IO culture and as far as this reliance
Joe and
on
Tay.
honor? Yeah. What do you think?
I honestly did not have a whole lot of thoughts about it. I really didn't stop for that. I do have a few things highlighted, but I'd like to hear Josh.
Okay. But then we'll get back to what you highlighted. Okay.
Okay, sure.
All right.
I mean, it reminds me a bit of the Sei-chan.
Hmm.
I mean, in like an abstract way of this kind of highly structured, hierarchical ordering of their civilization, right? Only in this case we see that it's sort of like a less of a vertical hierarchy and more of a horizontal hierarchy, where honor is the thing that is the thing that is sought after, as opposed to worldly possessions, right? And that
Okay.
People will go out of their way to repay honor debt for other people who don't do it the right way. And it's a shared tribal instantiation of this thing, right? It's not so much about individual honor as it is about the honor of your clan, and the shared responsibility that you all have towards upholding that.
So is it just that every clan just does not want to be considered a conger or a coughlin? And if there is one and he runs away, they'll send him back.
There's a lot I want to say right now, but I can't yet.
Okay.
Next week, I'll say all the stuff I'm thinking.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. God, very disciplined, Josh.
Ish.
Poo poo. He's not. Yeah, ish. Thank
Ish.
you.
Hardly.
Hardly. Ish.
So we get that's pretty much it. I mean,
So
is there anything, what did I miss?
I mean, the one thing I do want to point out about the rings sorry, Kay, is women don't come back from them in the same way that they don't from the rings of the accepted. They stay in these potential futures and are lost to this world.
Well, I thought that was the same in Tarvalon, right?
That's what I'm saying. That's another similarity between the two of them.
Oh, okay, my bad.
And then we also learned that so women can't go more than twice. The first time they go through the rings to become accepted, and then they go yet again, like Rand, to the center.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
And
into
so-
the heart of it.
Into the heart, right?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Again, I feel like I should wait and talk about this next week. But
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Yeah, we're going.
that-
that is important in the next.
Yes.
I feel like that's an important detail about them going to the heart also of the city.
Well, okay, so let's stick with Egwin. She at the end here's a bit about Tel'aran'rhiod. And she hears she's like, all right, I'm gonna say this and you gotta you gotta say it back to me, or you gotta do all the pots. And I'm like, all the pots, bring it.
Sounds like the Aes Sedai again.
But they were you can't enter the dreams too long. You'll there's like dangers, but then there's
flush time.
yeah, but I want to talk real fast about the abilities. It says, quote, you must learn to enter Tel'aran'rhiod when you wish, to the degree you wish. You must learn to find what you need to find and read what you see, to enter the dreams of another close by in order to aid healing, to recognize those who are in the dream fully enough to harm you, to etc. etc.
In order to aid healing.
Aid healing.
Can
To
you
enter
imagine someone
else's
going
dream
through like
by
a
you.
trauma and you could just go in their dreams and just be like, man, you were great. You handled that way great. You
Yeah,
didn't fail. You're not a
Well, how
failure.
fucking cool would it be to like have somebody come into your dream and be like saying that shit to you?
I got you. Yeah, no, I'd be like, I
Right,
got
you
you.
get bit by a dog, and then you just have nightmares about dogs, and then suddenly Amos shows up and is like, "No," and gives you kibble and says, "Just," sit."
Give you.
And the dog sits, and then you get over your nightmare.
Oh man.
What?
But yeah, to enter someone else's dream is a pretty interesting power.
Well, I
Gosh darn
mean,
it.
speaking. Well, I mean,
And is that what Perrin did when he entered to save Fail?
Fayo? Did he enter a specific dream, or did he enter Teleran?
Her dream, right? Because she was bound in.
Did he
in
enter
Teleran.
Fayo's dream? Oh, okay, interesting. Good question. What do
Well,
you think?
and
Kate?
also to that same scene, Hopper was like,
You're like,
"You
I
are
don't."
here too strongly."
Too
young
strongly, right?
Fucking wild.
Yeah,
And
so-
it goes to the many people brush the world of dreams in their sleep because they only brush against it. They wake with aches and pains when they should have broken bones, or worse. A dream walker enters the dream fully, therefore her injuries are real on waking.
Yeah.
And what do we see with Perrin? He was covered with cuts.
Yep.
We four alone can dreamwalk, and your tower has not produced a dreamwalker in nearly 500 years. It is not a thing of the one power, though Aes Sedai believe it is. I just think it's just like some good details there. I mean, we already knew that, given that
Yeah.
Perrin could do it. That the wolf brotherhood is not something of the one power, but
There's also 4 wise ones that can dreamwalk, and there doesn't seem to be a hierarchy between those who can channel and those who can't. Only 2 can channel and 2 can't, but it seems like they're all equals as far as
not the channeling that is what makes them wise ones. It's the ability to dreamwalk.
Yeah.
And do you think every wise one can dreamwalk?
No. I think they
Yeah.
they talk about that at some point.
Yeah?
But, like,
I thought that all the wise ones could dreamwalk.
couldn't.
No,
Oh,
it
I thought
says
they-
I thought it said
only
all of them
us 4.
cannot channel, but
Of all the wise ones,
they're wrong.
we 4 alone can
Yep.
dreamwalk.
okay.
So also,
So it's not even a prerequisite for a wise one to go to. I mean, we don't know if Avienda is a dreamwalker per se, but she is going to become a wise one, or
Well,
is off
but-
to run.
Wait. What?
Tragedy
Strategy.
averting. Tragedy. That sounds like George Bush Jr. would have said that.
Tragedy averted.
That's a tragedy.
America,
America.
tragedy averted.
You know, mission accomplished. Is there anything else about this chapter? Next week is going to be huge. Next week's going to be fun.
Next week's
I'm
gonna
glad
be
Todd is there
Fucking
with
huge.
us too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But is there anything that you wanted to point? I mean, so we have Matt and Rand off to Ruidian. We have Avienda stripping down, running across the valley. She's like, "I'll beat those boys. I'm fast, and they're not." Ha ha ha! Bye. Maureen's like, "Oh, you said I'm supposed to go through the rings too? Okay, I guess I gotta get naked. I just do this. Okay, bye. Don't tell Land.
It's Boogie Nights all over again, and then
Oh.
what
naked
is
women running all across the desert floor.
but at the very
So
beginning of the
burning
chapter, we have this whole issue with Lan basically contradicting Moraine and allowing Rand to yell at her and not like chiding him. So I wanted to go very, very back. Are we at this? Is this right? Like when they get to Ruidian, Moraine is like, "Oh my gosh, you should have been more circumspect in your use of your choices. In the future, you need to be blah, 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 blah." And he's like, "What are you talking about? I made it. I beat them all. That's what counts." And Lan goes, "That's all that matters." And it was
Well, I think they talk about like how they got through, right? Like that he's like so proud that he got them all through that. portal.
Yeah.
And that like I think he's referring to he starts to say something and then he cuts himself off. And that was interesting too. But let's see, what does he say? Okay. Anyways, but fuck, what was my phone? Yeah, I don't know. It was interesting.
No, yeah. I'm glad you agree. Well, I mean, like we saw very, very early on.
Oh yeah, he was supposed to be more tired than he was, right? Like
More
be more like exhausted from like doing that whole thing. From bringing them all through the portal. No, that's not your
No. She heals him and he gets all pissed and he's like, ask. Yeah, so she heals him and he's like, ask. You didn't give me permission. And Egwin notices that Lan didn't even step in, which is unusual. So it seems to be
well, the bonds are loosening. I mean, that's
maybe you're right. Maybe I did need one a little stronger, a little bit. Maybe he gave a huffing laugh. It worked, Moraine. That's what's important. I've outrun them all. It worked. That's what matters. Lan said, nodding.
It works. That which is in direct contradiction to her being like a little like a chiding, you know, like she was like Professor Umbridge.
Egwene and Moraine are both like, and
also we can even go.
Like,
we can go on and on about Egwene's thoughts. She's like, well, how like Moraine like totally invades Rand's like personal like space, heals him. He has every right to be like, what the fuck, ask. And Egwene's like, psh, how ungrateful. Right? It was pretty weird. I was not that stoked with Egwene's thoughts in the very beginning.
Man. Because she's just pissed. Men, she says, in one said men, period. One almost pulled himself and tried to make a joke of it, and another told him he had done the right thing. Do they never grow up? It's stereotypical.
No, she's what, 17?
It feels very written in the 80s. So.
Well, the last paragraph of the chapter says twice, it did not seem fair. It just was not fair.
Not fair. Nothing's fair.
She's used that term.
She was angry. There was a definite hint of satisfaction in her voice. A hint of satisfaction. See, why was she angry and there's a hint of satisfaction? She's angry and there's a hint of satisfaction. This is one complicated chick.
Anything else, Ryan, you want to bring up?
I love how we see Lan's bonds slackening. Lan and Moraine's bonds slackening.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you said buns. I was like, yes.
Bonds, right? Like we know Egwene Nynaeve has been fiddling in there, like trying to loosen them up, and you know, between the wise ones, the dreamers not necessarily seeing that he would be there despite Moraine being there, and him letting Rand basically talk shit to Moiraine and then not standing up for her when Rand replies to her yet again. Like, we see that there's this kind of like backsliding.
Yes. And if you remember 2 chapters earlier.
Oh, right. And he ran off and like did stuff without Moiraine knowing. He was missing.
Yeah, and she had this whole like internal
dialogue about it,
where she's like, she's like, he's fighting against my binds as hard as he ever fought a Trolloc in the Blight. He just doesn't know it. That Nynaeve is behind it all. What is Dan blowing someone? What are you doing, Dan?
I'm not sure.
Are you a beluga whale?
I was Nynaeve's,
he was filter feeding.
Loosening Lan's binds.
Loosening Lan.
I got it. Mm-hmm. I didn't get it until you translated.
Boom.
See? Acrobatic loosening the bun. Bang.
This is going crazy. Yeah.
All right, sorry.
Yes, Joshton can, so talking about ecstatic consent, Are you just jumping into Teleranriod and like using us, Dan?
Just nutting everyone, I'm just like, ha ha, you're all near me. I'm jumping in your dreams. It's a skill.
I mean, so you know, we're diving into like the details, right? We're like we're getting granular, but can you guys give me kind of bigger picture feelings about like what's happening right now? Like all of a sudden this world got bigger, the story got bigger. We have more shit going on. Like, what are you thinking right now as readers?
So, honestly, I really thought something big was going to happen, but I don't know. This is weird. This is not what I was expecting. I really thought it was going to be more of like a Black Tower-y type of thing, you know, like Black Aja stuff coming more to the surface, and maybe that's where we're headed, but like I don't really know what the fuck is going on right now. It feels very like, okay, well, haha, here we are, and everybody's speaking in half sentences and half thoughts, and it's very confusing in that way. But then there's also all these similarities that we're seeing and observing, and that's cool because, like Josh was talking about and speaking to, we can make, you know, connections between those similarities and things, and try to dissect what the fuck is going on. But wow, yeah, it's complicated, and there's.
Are you feeling overwhelmed?
A little bit. I mean, like I've felt that way throughout the entire series, though, because there are so many names for every single motherfucking thing, and it's in so many different ways that they're portrayed, and then it gets changed and twisted, and things morph, and one person becomes another, and it's just very. And then they keep referring to them as the other name too, so it's just like constant having to remember 2 names or 4 names for the same person or thing or being.
You're right. Yeah,
stop. Yeah. It's a lot. Yes,
it's a lot. Josh, how are you feeling at this moment? Like when we're meeting the Aiel, we're in the desert. Are you going like, yeah, bring it on, I want more? Or are you just like, oh shit? How are you feeling as a reader?
Yeah, bring it on.
Bring it on. Okay, yeah. The more the merrier.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice that there's stuff finally happening. I feel like this book has been really slow.
Well, this is definitely picking up and getting really exciting.
I
like this book a lot all the way around. I'm gonna stop talking.
Yeah, I think I like the Aiel. It's cool to get like, you know, start to get some image of like who they are besides just these kind of third person, perhaps misinformed views of them that we get through all the other characters. We've never had a point of view from an Aiel, so everything to this point about them, and we haven't met their culture close up, right? Other than in a foreign land, strangers in a strange land, right? So it's like now we're starting to get a sense of who they actually are. It's neat. I've been wanting that. Like I said, there's a lot of things I'm looking forward to talking about next week. I feel like I can't really answer you because of my situation, but I'm looking forward to talking next week.
Now, real quickly, is this a chapter, now that everything's getting confusing, is this the chapter where Moraine starts talking to the wise ones about who might be the real Aiel? Remember this? Where she's
so she starts going through.
This is the weirdest shit ever. And like, what is her motivation? What's going on? Why is she doing this? I thought this was...
Here, I'll read it out loud, actually, Ryan. It says...
I got it here, yeah.
Go,
the
Josh.
old tongue is often difficult to translate. Tel'aran'rhiod means the world of dreams, or perhaps the unseen world. Neither is really exact. It is more complex than that. An Alian, one man, but also the man who is an entire people, and 2 or 3 other ways to translate it as well. And the words we have taken for common use and never think of their meaning in the old tongue. Warders are called Gaidin, which was brother to battle. Aes Sedai meant servant to all. And Aiel, dedicated in the old tongue. Stronger than that, it implies an oath written into your bones. I have often wondered what the Aiel are dedicated to. The wise ones' faces had gone to iron, but Moraine continued. And Jen Aiel, the true dedicated, but again stronger. Perhaps, quote, the only true dedicated, unquote. The only true Aiel? She looked at them questioningly, just as if they had just not suddenly have eyes of stone. None of them spoke.
What is okay? So whether yes, that's amazing. Yeah. God damn it, we are the fucking greatest chat.
That's very funny. Very funny.
The funniest fucking greatest chat. All right, so regardless of whether or not she's right or wrong or whatever the implications of that, like, what is her motivation? She's
trying to get under their skin. I mean,
is it just putting everyone around her on tilt no matter what, just to figure them like why does she, okay, why then why
she's doing what she's playing a game of houses like she was raised to. She's pulling a Tom Merlin. Like, this is her doing what she did to Tom in the bedroom to them.
No, I hear you. Yeah.
I mean, I can't. I can't talk. I really wish I could talk right now, but I
know. I
want to answer you, but I can't.
No, that's why. But that's why I'm saying, like, don't go into the details. But what do you think her motivation was? Like, not like, yeah, we know what she learned later, but power
to power over them, to plant her leverage bar underneath her crowbar and get it positioned to crank. I mean, the woman is nothing if not obsessed with power and having that lever to the trim tab to execute manipulation over someone else. I mean,
I was with you on everyone, but what is a trim tab?
The trim tab, it's like it's from Buckminster Fuller. It's the small rudder on the big rudder. It's called a trim tab.
Rudder?
Yeah, you know, on like large ships, there's a smaller rudder called a trim tab on the big rudder, and that small rudder can actually steer the larger ship more than the big rudder because of the way that force works. So a trim tab is like a small thing that causes great change.
And some Buckminster. Yeah, I mean, that's what we are. That's what we are right now. So is this show a trim tab? I believe so.
Yeah, I think we're a trim tab. I got a trim tab.
What are we trim tabbing for?
Great change.
I was on trim tab and I lost 30 pounds in 90 days.
Oh no!
Uh-oh. Thank you, Mike Gene.
Yeah, like and subscribe, everybody.
It's actually called TTs now.
I was on TTs and I lost 20 pounds and not
back in the 80s. I was hooked on TTs. Trim tabs. I had so many trim tabs. I lived on trim tabs and tab.
Trim tabs.
And tab. And orange tab. Oh my god, this is the
guys. I am going to enter your dreams in order to aid healing later.
Please, dude.
Welcome me.
Everyone who's stuck around.
You have to ask.
Yeah.
Nope.
Ask.
Oh.
You can ask me to leave.
All
right.
I don't
you're like one of those guests, huh?
Yeah.
I ask forgiveness. Yeah.
Also, everyone
sitting in the bridal chamber on the wedding night, like, fucking Dan, get out of here.
Hey, everything okay?
All right. Yeah. I mean, that's arguable, but thank you, BR. Best joke all night. Hey, we have about a month and a half to convince Josh to drive up to Atlanta and visit us during JordanCon. So
Atlanta G. Woo!
Let's put on that peer pressure and be like
a photo with the Beanie Baby.
Yes, if you want a real life. What are you, 5'9"? You're 5'9", 5'10", 5'9". I'll give you 5'9".
What?
How tall are you?
You're like
You're 6 foot?
Yeah, of course.
Man, you've just like, yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while.
You know, when people self-report their height,
how tall you are, Josh.
There is a drastic dip in people who self-report as 5'11".
What is OTW?
On the
On
way.
way.
On the way, yeah. Yeah, so MaTsDaGger lives in South Florida, and you're going to fly it,
He's
drive
going
up.
the whole way. Yeah,
Right.
he's taking time.
Oh man!
So yeah.
Get your merch.
All right, guys.
Last episode, I made a joke that if I lived in Florida, I'd have a GoPro on all the time,
Yeah, how's it
and I
going?
still think that's a great joke.
How's it going? You got it.
All right.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right.
That's good.
Hey everyone.
Yeah,
All right.
hey.
Next week.
Bye, everybody.
Oh, we're done?
Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
I am.
Interesting.
Grandpa, you done? Next week, 3 chapters, 24, 25, and 26.
Oh, it's going to be hot.
Yeah, if you think your world is broken open now,
Oh, it's going to be it's going to be
Is what we just finished, correct?
We're
yes,
going deep,
we're going
dogs.
through it again.
Go get your life vests.
get ready to have your
Amazing.
skull cracked.
We're gonna jump. We're going deep ocean tomorrow or next week.
Ocean.
All right, everyone, we
Tidal
love
wave.
you. Tomorrow, Elden Ring. 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific. It is sweeping the nation.
I would say that the first time we played was Elden Boar Ring, but this should be Elden Thrill Ring.
You